We're not done because we have more quick hits.
That's right.
A late Fabian Schär goal means Liverpool are held to a 3-3 draw by Newcastle. Jules, are you going to blame Quevin Kelleher or simply celebrate Salah and the tune's bounce back ability?
I think all are valid. Yeah, Kelleher made a big mistake. He should have.
How dare he?
He should have caught the ball. But I don't even think that was difficult. I don't know what happened in his head.
He thought the ball was going on. There was nobody there who was going to get it.
But that's what I mean. He didn't check, so he should have checked because this is an easy ball for him to catch. He didn't. Great finish by Schär, by the way. Amazing. And I think if you're Liverpool, for 80 minutes, it looked like a point was good because this was a good performance from Newcastle. They were very much in the game. There was not much between the two teams. Both missed chances, both scored goals. But once you're 3-2 up with 10 minutes to go, if you're Liverpool, you just close the game out. So I think there's a bit of disappointment, although for most of the game, you would have taken a point anyway.
I would agree with that. Ryan Gravenberch, I think, suffered for the first game of the season in this one, which is a really good run for him. Anthony Gordon, not my favorite player, but wow, that was a moment for him. It is a derby.
And Isak, what a goal as well for Isak. And speaking of Salah, he was outstanding once again, Gabby. And the Athletic are reporting that Liverpool will soon make him a 4-year contract offer to extend, and that they've already submitted one for Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, which then apparently they said, well, it's an initial offer, so which I'm assuming he hasn't signed it yet.
Yeah.
Look, January 1st is a deadline you need to think about because that is when they are legally allowed to speak to other teams and sign pre-contract. So you want to get those in to have a benchmark. I think it's also, frankly, a courtesy to the player, which they owe Virgil van Dijk, saying, this is our initial offer. If you go out, you get better ones, come back to us, and we see if we can improve it or not. That's the way it's supposed to work. That's what we're going to do with Salah. I think they feel, actually, and I'm in the minority here, I think they feel pretty confident about Mohamed Salah staying without having to break the bank. Because you know my thoughts. This whole, pay him what he wants is so stupid and irresponsible. Manuel Neuer gets himself sent off after just 17 minutes, and Bayer Leverkusen outlast Bayern München 1-0, knocking them out of the German Cup. Jules, this was a weird game.
It was, yeah.
Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala as your center forwards. I told you I didn't like the Leverkusen lineup with Grimaldo and Frimpong as wingers. I still don't like it.
Yeah.
They deservedly won against 10 men, but man.
Yeah, it wasn't great from neither team, really. And to go back to the point that we made about Neuer after the Dortmund game, where he was obviously a bit dodgy on the goal that Gitten scored, this was a very stupid red card that completely deserved because he just barges into Frimpong.
And he tries to look angelic afterwards.
Yeah, obviously, as he would do. Bayern did some good things with 10 men, and to be fair, they had a couple of decent chances. And for Leverkusen, it felt like they never really got going. But the two wingers with Wirtz as a 9, and Musiala Kane is obviously out, injured. But Wirtz dropping a bit deeper, and I thought Wirtz was very good in this game. When there's a lot of talk about his future, and that he could end up at Bayern to play with Musiala. I thought was really interesting in a way, but it's a game that I think we will forget pretty quickly.
In another way, it was pretty dull.
Yeah, definitely. Chelsea destroys Southampton away 5-1 as my boy Christopher Nkunku gets a rare Premier League start and also scores. Gab Maresca keeps saying that they're not competing for the title, but they're only 7 points back, level with better than Arsenal now on goal difference.
Yeah, well, I think Maresca is honest. 7 points with this young team, you're not competing for the title yet. Ask them again if they win more games, if they cut the gap, if Liverpool falter. Sure, then maybe you can start to talk about it because that's what the table tells you. The table tells you that you're not there yet. But yeah, this was a really good performance. And Southampton, though, are really absolutely terrible. The way they give goals to the opposition is absolutely ridiculous.
Goal is ridiculous. The red card for Stevens pulling Correa's hair is ridiculous.
He's a captain.
What are you doing?
I posted them others on X, and people are like, well, Christian Cuti Romero got away with it. And I'm like, yeah, that was 2 years ago. Different player, different context. Also, Cuti Romero was subtle about it. You had to really look at the VAR. It's obvious. But this guy, I don't know what's wrong with you.
So bad, man.
It was funny. Cole Palmer, there was this really sweet thing that he did with Gianfranco Zola. It's like a promotional video that the Premier League puts out to rights holders around the world, which I saw. And Zola was like, because apparently he wasn't familiar with Gianfranco Zola.
Yeah.
And
Then they met at the
then they
training
met,
ground.
and he's like, "Oh, really? You're a FIFA icon?" And Zola's like, "Yes. Like, I've never picked you on FIFA." And Zola's like, "Well, now that you've met me, maybe one day you want to pick me when you play FIFA."
They practiced free kicks, and Gianfranco said to me, I saw him on Monday, and he said the ball was weird. He was not flying, he didn't leave the ground. It's like, okay, you're a bit older as well, Gianfranco.
What was funny is Palmer also said, "I have no right foot," and seeing that finish, I mean, nice control with his right, but then that finish 1-on-1,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
You should have scored
the
that
right
one,
foot.
for sure.
You can still work on, you can still
Yeah,
improve.
Definitely.
Robert Lewandowski gets a rare day off, but Barcelona romp past Mallorca anyway, and they do it on the road, 5-1. Just the 5.09 expected
Just
goals.
that,
Most
just
of it
that.
after the break.
Yeah, most of it, because that first half, they got a little bit lucky that Ferran Torres, our best friend, who played in front to replace Lewandowski, he was really lucky on his first goal. Massive, like it was a mess from the Mallorca defense. Then there's the penalty that is a little bit, again, generous, let's put it that way. Second half, it was much better. And it's not perfect, obviously. Yeah, but Lamine was good with those crosses. The Quaresma-esque crosses with the outside of his left foot was just wonderful. And Rafinha is in great form.
Is Frankie de Jong on the Kevin De Bruyne plan? Like, since he comes back from injury?
I
Like,
don't know.
why isn't he?
Maybe
I
that
know
goal will
Casemiro
help
was
him.
there, but like,
I know, yeah, it's strange. FIFA finally found someone to broadcast the Club World Cup in the summer, Gab. Yeah!
all right, so this is important because obviously there's a lot of people are down on it. And FIFA are saying this tournament will generate so much money for you clubs, and we're building something good. I am a Club World Cup fan. I think this can
Me
be
too.
really good, but I do feel like they overpromised. Nobody was going to do it. Now suddenly DAZN comes forward. It's a reported $1 billion that they're paying, which a lot of people are kind of surprised about. DAZN, obviously, they're around the world. They're in many countries. They're not in every country. They also lose a ton of money every year.
Yeah.
People aren't quite sure how they're going to make this work commercially, especially
It says
because
free for everyone to see.
it's going to be free for everyone. So they must have really good sales guys. They may license some games in some markets to national broadcasters, but they also want it to be free for for exposure, which again, to me makes sense. That's how the real World Cup is. That said, there's also suggestions which have been denied by the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia that they're about to buy DAZN and inject the money and prop it up that way.
Yeah.
People can be cynical. I would, to some degree, I'm inclined to believe the Public Investment Fund because they have said that they're cutting back their spending outside of Saudi Arabia. So I don't know what the actual plan is here, or the guy who owns DAZN, most of it, Len Blavatnik, is a very rich guy. He's getting older. Maybe he's like, hey, maybe this will be my gift and just burn more money. I generally don't know.
I don't know.
Aston Villa end their streak of 8 games without a win by beating Brentford 3-1. Jules, your boy Unai Emery can breathe a big sigh of relief.
Yeah, it is. And to be fair, it was a good performance for most of the game, especially when the game was done at halftime anyway. They were 3-0 up. Watkins scored. Rogers scored. We saw, I thought, a very good Bouba Kamara. And I think this is a team that is better when Kamara plays with Tielemans than when he doesn't. So it's good to see him back at this kind of
They're even better
level.
when Onana plays. But yeah.
Yeah, but I think Kamara is better than Onana in this team, and for this team certainly. So it was good. We saw Tyron Mings being there, and even Matty Cash scored. So overall, a much needed win and evening for them, and a good result. Fiorentina out of the Coppa d'Italia, losing to Empoli on penalties. But Gab, this was overshadowed by the tribute for Edoardo Bove. What's the latest as well?
So the latest is they're still working on theories. They think it could be myocarditis, which is obviously a heart condition. You're the guy with the medical background here, not me.
Of course.
There's some suggestion there might be a scar on his ventricle. And he's undergone a ton of tests before, incidentally, which wasn't spotted, but there's some sort of higher level thing, which apparently wasn't there. He had COVID quite seriously, which wasn't there before COVID. So they're linking the two things. They're also looking at genetics. Interesting thing is, if it does end up him having to, the possibility of him playing with a defibrillator like Christian Eriksen does, he won't be allowed to play in Italy because the Italian FA does not allow footballers who have defibrillators, sort of implants, to play professional football.